afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Lehr with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Today discussing a slightly more abstract topic, that of playing the game like a pro. That was mostly in response to sort of something that came into mind after some guy asked me about it on Facebook. Like, you know, why don't you make us some videos how to play like a pro? And it's like, there are no shortcuts to playing like a pro. Part of being, playing like a pro is hence, professional, meaning you're taking it very seriously and you're investing a lot of time. Thusly, the real key to playing like a pro, basically, to a large extent, boils down to, well, not all of it, of course, playing the game a lot. That's largely what it boils down to, playing the game a lot. So, for example, get around the, more specific parts, you just do them automatically without having to think of them, so you can sort of do more important things like deeper tactics and strategy and focus on that rather than you having to focus on getting the unit in the right place in the first place. So that's sort of the thing. There are no shortcuts to playing like a pro. There's always going to be one who sort of somehow catch on to everything like automatically, but those are fine between. For the rest of people, it's about playing the game a lot, getting the basics down, and thusly in many cases the suggestions ought to be play the game a lot. If there's something you want to work on, improve upon, focus on that specifically. Want to improve your ability to use smoke? Throw down a lot of smoke screens here and there, work it in so it becomes part of your sort of repertoire automatically. So rather than just having to think about smoking in the first place, you can do it, but then you can focus on making the best use of the smoke rather than having to, make some big deal of just using smoke in the first place. And that basically applies to a lot of other things in life. Repetition. Do them a lot. Because, it's playing the game a lot that gives you a sense, not just, being able to do the best basics, flawlessly without having to think about them at all, but also just a sense of tactics, being able to read your opponent very efficiently. And of course, I can make videos that can to an extent help with it, but ultimately, that's to an extent just a primer. You're not going to be like perfect at the game having just watched all of my videos. Maybe like 1 or 2 out of a million will be, but, for the rest of you, you're still going to have to, actually put it into practice. And that's, ultimately it boils down to practice, playing the game, watch some videos, then put it into practice, try your best. And that's what I can do here with the Propagandacast Lehr and just, casting stuff, it is to prime your minds. But ultimately, I can only prime them. I can't just force feed you, all the information. So just pro players. You're having, to get in there, play the game yourself, and put it into practice. You have to train yourself, and those are vitally important things. So in that regard, there are no shortcuts. I can help, improve and all that, but, I can't just, make your pros like that. And even then, there's going to be no difference in that. And even then, it's not just all down to just playing the game a lot. I've seen players who've played, thousands upon thousands of matches. I still remember one guy in company who's won while I was going through the ladders at one point. I can't remember why. But basically, this guy had played tens of thousands of games, and he was stuck somewhere roughly in the midst of everything. He wasn't even near close to the top of the game, but still, he had played the game near 1,000 and 1,000 and 1,000. That's, also another part. It's not just, playing the game a lot, obviously, and, there's a lot more to it. There's, for example, mentality, which I can honestly do an entire video on itself, but also, of course, decision making. But ultimately, at some point, one of the key elements is you have to play the game a lot. Like, there's no way around it. You have to play the game a lot if you want to be good at it. That's really one of the major prerequisites. That's sort of just part of that. Again, just to respond to that guy, tips for playing like a pro. Well, if you really want tips for playing like a pro, play the game a lot. That's like the number one. Play the game a lot. So yeah, that's sort of one of the key elements there. But otherwise, it comes down to partly again mentality, which again I can do a video on, but also just decision making, being able to read your opponent very well, and understanding how the map works. And that's certainly also one of the bigger ones. Just flanking, which certainly seems to be something most people are not quite so keen on currently. But again, as I state, flanking is really important, and it's how you can really do a lot of damage if you know how to make good use of it. So that sort of covers that. Again, was just sort of something I had in mind as someone again asked about it, and just thinking, well, I'll make a video answering about it. Who knows? I might make some more videos sort of covering other more abstract topics, like again mentality, or being able to read the map better and utilize the map better. Like again, for example, point out, stop just over focus on the center. Remember, there's other parts of the map. There exists fuel as well, rather than just a central victory point. So there you go, a shorter Propagandacast Lehr, but again, just sort of to highlight again, ultimately, at some point you're going to have to invest some time into it if you want to actually be good and you want to play anything like the pros. You have to put in time. But again, train it one thing at a time, to get it good, and then move on to the next one, then sort of try to put it all together in a bigger unity. And once you get there, you can sort of really begin working towards playing like one of the pros. But there are no shortcuts. Like, you're just going to have to do it. You're going to have to, to some extent, put some effort, some elbow grease, and some sweat into it. But of course, it's not all this, and again, there will likely be more videos covering that if this one is particularly well received. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, and comment on it. If you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. As you know, I try to do this for a living, so anything you can offer is a huge help to me. And of course, a big thanks to all those who already pledge on Patreon. Big thanks to you. You're all heroes. So this is Imperial Dane signing off, and see you all another time for another video. Cheers.